at scale, when you're extremely mature and very profitable, you really got to tweak this stuff very carefully. Okay. And we could talk about that if that's relevant. But in the beginning, we get this all wrong. What matters is, can a sales rep close more than they take home? In the very beginning, that's all that matters. It's just you selling, right? The first 3 months of a new rep, you're lucky if they can close as much as their take home pay is, their OT. Okay. And so in the really early days, my early day comp plan is, look, your first 3 months, you keep 100% of what you close. Of course, that's not profitable for the business, but you got to invest in them, right? You keep 100% of what you close. And if you have enough going on in your business, usually that's enough to put supper on the stove.
And that's without a salary?
No, you pick an OTE, a salary,
Mm.
but you got to, okay, let's step back for a minute. You got to pay market. And this, in the early days, if you're bootstrapped or really lean, this stresses folks out. Like, I just talked to this great rep, Lenny, but he wants 150K OTE, right? And in fact, it's a step down. He had 170K at Slack, but he knows this isn't a startup. He wants 100, he might take 140. Okay?
And OTE is total comp, overall
total comp. And the founder panics. I'm only making 60. How can I pay 140? Well, let's break it down for a minute. First of all, let's be tactical. It's usually 50-50, right? 50% base, 50% bonus for a sales rep. So they're really only taking home a 70K base, trying to make another 70. Okay. And then 70 divided by 12, help me do my math. It's not quite 6K a month. Well, maybe with taxes it is. You're really only paying 6K a month for a couple months to see if this experiment works out. You're investing $20,000. You don't have $20,000 to do sales? Then don't do sales. If you can't find $20,000. So people freak out too much about this top line number, this base and bonus, the on target earnings OTE, and they're not more practical about what am I committing to cash up front. 2, you need a plan where it's a win-win. So if this person makes 140, but ultimately a sales rep's got to bring in 4 to 5 times what they take home. Okay, so that 140's got to be 500, 600 or more. The more enterprise you are, the bigger the multiple has to be, and the higher the comp. But it's got to be 3 to 5x at a minimum. 3x for small businesses, 4x for mid-market, 5x. You got to get there, but you don't have to be there on day 1 and 2. When you get there, the reps should be accretive, shouldn't they be? If they make 150 and they bring in 450, unless your marketing costs are out of control, which can happen, but that's not sales fault, is it? If your marketing costs are reasonable, and you pay a sales rep 150 for closing 450. If you engineer your plan right, you should be smiling, not frowning. Where it gets tough is when you have a ton of folks not closing. When you have a ton of folks not closing and you have extremely high marketing costs, then it all breaks. Your CAC breaks, your payback period breaks. But if you have inbound leads, if you have demand, and you have sales reps that can sell you this pen, they're going to be accretive, Lenny, because of that math. And don't take the pressure off. Don't make them close 5x their take home their first quarter. Make them close 1x. Let them put points on the board. Let them eat. And so negotiating, here's the point. If you think about it, negotiating someone down from a 150K OT to 130, it's not going to make any difference. You want them to close 600 or 700. It's not going to matter. At scale, does it matter? For Mongo, maybe, right? Maybe. But you want it. What you care about is how much more can they close than they bring in? And then that's why you want them to make a lot of money. You want them to be rich. You want them to take home a lot for a whole bunch of reasons. And so don't freak out about the acronym OT, what they take home. Figure out what it's really going to cost you. And would you buy from them? And if you would, they're probably going to bring in more than they take home. Right. And on the marketing side, like in the early days, you're lucky if you can find a marketing channel that is that accretive.
Amazing. Okay.